Welcome to the Kling Kerfuffle, where we get to learn about people, places, and neat little interesting facts. And today I have an amazing guest. And I know I'm going to butcher his name, but he's a New York guy and he's Italian. And his name is Chris Capuano. I think that's how he wants me to say it. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
No,
I
you
did it
nailed
already.
that. You really did. Sean, that was maybe the best pronunciation I've heard in probably the last 24 hours. So very nice job there.
Oh, thanks. Not bad for a Philly boy with German roots.
I love it. I love it.
Well, welcome to the show, Chris. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So, to all our fans out there that want to get to know who Chris is, Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and then we can dive into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing.
Yeah, sure. So Chris Capuano, born and raised on Long Island, New York, Strong Island, New York. Currently living in New York City, Queens specifically. Who I am, that is a loaded question. Every few years it kind of changes. If you asked me who I was 3 or 4 years ago, it'd be a different person and version of who I am today, right? Every day I try to be a little bit different, a little bit better. Never stop improving. NSI is kind of like my slogan. But who I am and what I do. Okay, let me just give you the Cliff Notes version. I don't want to bore your listeners or anything like that. So, born and raised into a traditional, middle-class family, probably slightly on the poorer side. Mom and dad split up when I was younger. Mom was an alcoholic growing up, still is, but still have a very good relationship with her today. Before 4 p.m., after 4 p.m., a switch flips, and I am not going to entertain that side of that because people say and do things that they don't mean when they are under the influence of, drugs and alcohol. Dad, unfortunately lost him 3 years ago unexpectedly. So that was horrible. A lot of trauma growing up. And then I voyaged into the jobs and careers part of my life. Later on in life, I've tried everything under the sun, from driving from Uber to being a power washer, to trying construction, to being a teacher's assistant, to being a cashier. I tried every job, literally almost every single job. Did that for, I don't know, another 15, 20 years. And then 8 years ago, I got into the business that I'm in now, which is merchant services, point of sale systems. That's the boring side of it. The exciting side of it is helping small and medium businesses locally grow and scale and help their business succeed.
Wow, that's pretty good. A lot going on there. A lot of cool stuff going on. So I got to ask, and my fans are going to ask, and the followers are going to ask, you're in Queens. Does that mean you're a Jets fan?
You know what's so funny? I suck at 3 things in life. I suck at sports, history, and geography. So I know all the rules of the sports, and I'll watch the World Series and I'll watch the Super Bowl, but dude, I don't know any of the players. Like, I'm still thinking sports are like back when like Mike Piazza and Derek Jeter played. You know what I mean? Like, I am the least most sports person out there. I'm a big music fan. If you talk to me, that's how I that's one of my hobbies, is I actually play the drums. I was in a band for a while. I got to tour the East Coast. That was super fun, super cool. But yeah, when it comes to sports, I mean, look, if you got a gun to my head, I'm probably going to pick the Jets, and I'm probably going to pick whichever New York baseball team is playing, whether it's the Yankees or the Mets. But usually I tend to lean more towards the Yankees, although I live about 8 minutes away from the Mets Citi Field Stadium. So I don't know. I've kind of been transitioning from a Yankees fan more into a Mets fan lately.
So a Queens guy that is out there playing music and running businesses and living the life. And I mean, there's a lot going on here. I mean, what as far as Queens goes, what makes you want to stay in Queens? What makes you want to stay in New York?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing at this point. I can't wait to run away and never look back. Queens is not for me. Being raised and born on Long Island just shows you the good life. And then everyone always goes east the older they get. But I met my amazing, incredible wife 14 years ago. Yesterday was our 9-year wedding anniversary. And she grew up and was born in Queens. So we decided, I'm going to move in with her for now. And that was only supposed to be a couple of years. And here I am almost 10 years later. But luckily, I am going to be moving back out to Long Island in about a year. Currently building a house out there in North Huntington. So super excited to get back to having my own parking spot and not having my neighbors steal my packages anymore.
Oh yeah, I see that all the time. Like these guys that when you're ordering Amazon, like, and they're catching them on the Ring cameras, they come up and they just like steal your stuff. And and like right in front of the driver. Sometimes
Dude,
the
it's
driver's putting it there
crazy.
and they take it. It's nuts.
I literally have a video of my neighbor stealing my package, and I was very nice about it. I knocked on the door and I said, "I think you may have taken my package on accident. It's my wife's dress for our niece's communion. If you don't mind just returning it." And they go, "Oh, how do you know we took it?" And I go, "Because I have you on camera." They go, "How do you know that was your box?" I go, "I have the photo from UPS and I have you on Ring, and if you could just bring it back, that'd be awesome." And yeah, and then it turned into a whole thing, and an hour later they brought it back, but she ordered like 3 dresses, and like 2 of the dresses were missing, and the box was opened, and I'm like, "What do you do at that point? Do you get the cops involved? Now now you're fighting with your neighbors." It's like, oh my god, just be a good person. Like, we know they're going to sell the dress online. We don't need to, just give it back to us. Just be. That's what ultimately my whole theme about this new book is just being a good person, doing the right thing when no one's watching, and just living your life like you really do only get one life. I believe that. So I'm trying to go to heaven. I don't know about the rest of everyone.
I'll tell you what, I really like the title of your book, bringing it up. No ceilings, no excuses. Wow. Um, that title really pops out. We live in a world today where everybody has an excuse for why they can't do something, or they're saying that they hit a ceiling, and whether it's, a sexually based thing, a racially based thing, a gender based thing, a growing up poor, a monetary based thing. People tend to use excuses and ceilings. And I just find that such an interesting title. How did you come up with that title?
I appreciate it. Yeah. So, I mean, I the 3 things that I kind of hate when people say is I would have, I should have, I could have. And every time I hear that, I just think another excuse, or another regret. Like, why does everyone look back? Look forward. Like, get rid of these excuses, take a long, hard look in the mirror, realize that the only person to blame for you not getting something done or you not being where you want to be is yourself. And I'm not trying to make everyone beat themselves up. I'm just trying to make everyone take accountability and realize that you are the only person in control of changing your life. I always say this: imperfect action trumps no action 100% of the time. So, what that means is if you're thinking of doing something, anything, don't just think about it, but take action. And when you take action, things get done. And yes, you're going to screw up. You're probably going to look stupid. You might even look silly. But guess what? You're doing something. You're getting yourself out there. You're becoming a little bit more vulnerable. You think if I was worried about what people are going to think of me, I'd be on your podcast right now? You think I would have wrote a book? You think I would have a very successful business, that I have employees and now I could help other people grow? Hell no. Hell no. You have to get the other people's judgments out of your head. Don't let your mom tell you that you shouldn't do this. Don't let social media tell you you can't do that. Do what you want to do. Follow through, commit. That's the no excuses part. The
I
no,
like that.
yeah,
I like your part about the social media because,
yeah,
today with social media, people are taking pictures on, some beautiful mountain someplace or
yeah.
by the ocean, or they're taking a picture in front of a Lamborghini, or,
Hmm.
multi-million dollar home. And we have this perception in life that says that we haven't made it until we're driving the $500,000 Ferrari, or we're living in the $12 million mansion. And sometimes with social media, that really pushes this narrative that you haven't succeeded until you reach that point. And it's interesting that you bring up social media, which I personally think is a necessary evil, but it's also the bane to a lot of existence.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it's funny, a lot of people that take the pictures with the Lambos, or they're in a private jet, it's probably not even their car. It might be a lease, might be a rental, might be their boyfriend or girlfriend's. And on the private jet, there's some people that rent private jets for an hour that don't even take off or land just to take photos in it. Dude, how do you care what people think of you that much? Like, you're putting out this false persona. And yes, I tend to post the rainbow, in my day. I don't post the rain. So it's going to rain 99% of your day, but 1% of your day there's a rainbow. No one, I mean, do people care about the rain? They probably do. But the best part of your day is that rainbow. It's that little glimmer. It's that little, that it's the best. It's the high. It's the, oh my God, you went to a fancy restaurant and you got an amazing meal on the table. You're going to post that. You're not going to post the fact that you just ate crap for the rest of the 23 hours in your day, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Now, let's break down the title here and let's get a little into your book here. So the no ceilings. What do you mean by like no ceiling?
Yeah.
And
So
that?
no stealing. Okay. So no stealing could be a financial ceiling, right? Maybe you're making 100 grand a year, 50 grand a year, 200 grand a year, 300, whatever. It could be a financial ceiling. It could also be a self-imposed ceiling. Oh, hey, maybe I'm not good enough to do that, or maybe I'm not smart enough, or maybe I don't know about enough about this topic to do that. Whatever the ceiling is, it's metaphorical, but it's also real. You have to smash and you have to bust that ceiling out of your head, get it out of your mind, shift your mindset. Mindset is key. Mindset is everything. You got to stay positive. Yes, it's going to go wrong in life. There's going to be a lot of crazy highs and lows, but guess what? The lows are good. The lows are what build character. The lows are what teach you lessons. And you have to get out of your own head and you have to say, you know what, screw this. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, when I want to do it. But my whole thing is just do it now. Don't do it tomorrow, whatever you're thinking of doing. And I'm not saying go out there and quit your job. That's a little extreme. Maybe you could start, taking small steps. Take small wins. Maybe if you don't have to get to work till 4 p.m., what are you doing from 12 to 4? Okay, I get it. The morning, you got your little routine. That's fine. Go to the gym, whatever. 12 to 4, you got 4 good hours there. Do something with it. Start building something that's going to generate revenue without you having to trade your time to be there. If you could figure out how to make money in your sleep, then you won.
Right. And when you're speaking to people about your book or you're doing any type of consulting or public speaking or events, what are some of the ceilings that people approach you about, and how do you handle that? Like, how do you guide them? And what are some of the big ceilings that they come up with? I can't do this because I've reached this point.
So it's funny. So I just put this book out about 30 days ago. It's only been out for a month. Okay. So this is a brand new book. I haven't done any public speaking yet. I haven't spoken to many people about this specific topic yet. This is still in the infant stage. But what I could tell you is that obviously throughout life, you hear friends and family that come to you and ask you for advice. And I always just say, you got to stop trying to make other people happy and just make yourself happy. And that's the key. I mean, I'm sure I would probably give you the same answer in 5 or 10 years from now after I, go on stage with Grant Cardone or Jeremy Minor or Jordan Belfort. I'm giving the best speeches anyone ever heard. I'm probably going to still give you the same answer.
I,
I don't
I
care what
always
people say.
like this with the no ceilings, no excuses. Again, I'm really flabbergasted by the title of this. My father grew up very poor, and he was kind of in the same situation that you discussed when you first came on the show. And my father only had a ninth grade education, and by the time he was in his 40s, he owned a $20 million a year construction business with my uncle.
There you go.
And there was a no ceiling for him. He was not formally educated outside of his time in the Marine Corps after he was out of high school. There was no formal education, and there was no excuses for somebody like my father.
Mhm.
And he did what he did by pure grit and determination and rolling up a sleeve and being able to take the fall. And you sound like that type of guy too. It sounds like you didn't have kind of the best upbringing in certain aspects.
Hell no. Hell no. No. You got to, you know what? I always say chaos equals cash. You got to figure out how to turn what other people would make an excuse into your fuel. And then that's going to be what propels you forward. No ceiling, no excuses. It's more than just learning how to see past all the crap. It's building the systems and getting in the right mindset and the right habits, so that way you're going to be successful. And it's not going to happen overnight either. It's going to be something you have to stay with and stick with, so that way you get results. If you quit the second that something goes wrong, you're never going to succeed with anything. So the whole book and mindset is just about continuing pushing past the quit and just being relentless and owning every single choice and thing that happens to you without looking outward. You have to look inward.
So the no excuses part is another part that kind of resonates with me. Is everybody has an excuse why they can't do something. And so people can always blame the ceiling. The glass ceiling is a famous saying. I'm a woman. I can't go beyond this because of the glass ceiling, or I have this disability, or I had this upbringing. But there's also people that don't use the glass ceiling excuse, and they use excuses.
Mhm.
And what are some of the excuses? What are the most outlandish excuses you've ever heard in your career for people that have not been able to succeed?
These are the things I just roll my eyes at, and I'm just like, so you think you're really believing that that's why you can't succeed? Like, just go on Google right now and type in top 10 most successful women CEOs, and they're probably worth billions and billions of dollars. I mean, type in, if you want to use, I don't know, let's just say economical times. Type in most successful people in the Great Depression. If you want to go racial, go racial, whatever. Most successful Asian entrepreneurs. Whatever direction you want to go. There's always people that break through. If you're blaming something else, whether it's the president or the state of the economy or your location or you're this or you're that, nope, wrong. Nope. You're just BSing yourself. And you know it. That's the funniest part, is that you're going to say these things and you may believe it 80%, but deep down that that's why you're not succeeding. So the second you're honest and really truthful with yourself, that's going to be your breakthrough moment. That's going to be your breakthrough moment, because you
So
could
let's
just, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to keep going on in life with these glass ceilings? Screw that. Be Willy Wonka at the end of the chocolate factory. He smashed past the glass ceiling. Everyone should be like Willy freaking Wonka.
That's one of the best analogies I've ever heard. What was the name of the elevator in that?
The
Push a
Wonka
button.
Vader.
The Wonka Vader. You can go wherever.
One of my favorite movies.
Oh my God. And I can honestly say the remakes that they have made have not been
Nah, it
anything
wasn't it.
close to what Gene Wilder did.
No, dude. Gene Wilder was in a league of his own. He really was. I mean, even the music in that movie, every song is just iconic as heck. It really is. It's like, oh my God, another hit. Every time I watch the movie, I'm like, come with me. It's just like the melody, the lyrics, the vibe, the energy. There's no music like that. I feel like I'm watching a musical. And I hate musicals.
And those songs were picked up by like so many people. Like Sammy Davis Jr. did the Candyman, and I don't
Yeah.
know if he did it prior to the movie, but it was it was there. And World of Imagination, I think the name of the
Mhm.
song is, or
Every single song is a banger, as the kids say. It is just straight fire. It is just wow after wow after wow.
and the lead actor for that, from what I understand, the kid that played Charlie Bucket,
Mhm.
is like runs a cattle farm or a milk cow farm or something in New York now, I've heard.
That's life, dude. That is the goal. The more money I have, the more I realize I'm like, I just want to be on a farm with animals. I'm like, it's just so peaceful, just dealing with Mother Nature and everything. It's like, oh my God, you gotta break through the noise. There's so much noise that happens, whether it's your phone dinging or this person calling you or that. Oh my God, it doesn't stop. And emails, they're like incoming fire. Every moment of every day, I'm just ditching them and dodging them. And I mean, eventually, yeah, you got to sink your teeth into some of them, but you got to bust through all this noise and chaos that exists in the world and just get down to the core of Mother Nature.
So stepping into your book, what are some of the analogies that or the stories that you have going on in your book that I don't want to delve too deep into it because I want people to go out and read it, but like 30,000 Mile View, what are some of the interesting stories or anecdotes or what have you in your book?
I mean, one that kind of comes to mind is the story of how I hired this employee, and we took him out the first day. He came out with us, and he's like, "Hey, just so you guys know, I'm 90 days sober. If you want to give me a shot, I promise to not lay you down." And I'm like, "Dude, I really appreciate the honesty." I'm like, "I would love to give you a shot. You seem This guy was so genuine, so goofy. He was like he showed up early, he stayed late, never complained. He was so friendly. He was one of the nicest, most caring, genuine people I've met in my whole life. I honestly fell in love with the kid. He was a rock star. Worked with him every day, 6 days a week for 6 months straight. Everything was going great. Took him out to dinner as a thank you for all of his hard work. Wake up to a text the next morning. Hey, Chris, thank you so much again for last night. We took him out to the nicest restaurant in Manhattan and ordered one of everything on the menu. He's never had a meal like that in his life. And everything was perfect. Text me the next morning at about 11 a.m. Hey, can't thank you enough. I'm going to remember last night's dinner forever. I'm going to let you know how I make out at the end of the day, because he had like a bunch of stops. End of the day comes around and I don't hear from him. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Calling him, texting him, no answer. Next day comes around, same thing. Radio silence, crickets. Now I'm like, shoot, this ain't good. Now I'm thinking something's happened. That day comes around, that night comes around, nothing. Next morning comes around. Now I'm like, I gotta like, I guess call the cops. This is crazy. Right before I dial 911, I thought to call one of his references that he put on his resume. And I call and this girl answers and I'm like, hey, do you know what happened to so and so? And she's like, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. He passed away 3 days ago. Oh, he
Wow.
overdosed in his car 3 days before his 30th birthday. So I went to the
Wow.
funeral 2 days later, 3 days later, whatever it was. And the family's walking up to me and they're hugging me and they're just thanking me endlessly. The whole family, the mom, the brother, everyone. And everyone was just like, you gave him the best 6 months of his life. You don't know what he was going through. You have no clue. Every moment of every day, he struggled to stay sober. And I had no clue. I'm like, he came off like everything was perfect. He lived life like everything was so easygoing. And I'm just like, it taught me you never know what someone is going through. You just don't. You think you may know someone. You have no clue. I mean, right now I'm doing this podcast with you. You don't know if I'm going to go murder 10 people when we're done with this,
Right.
right? But it's just, I'm joking. But imagine I wasn't. No, I'm joking about joking.
Oh.
Yeah, still go in my basement. No, but no, but like, yeah, it really just goes to show you that like you really truly don't know what everyone puts a mask on. Everyone puts a mask on. I don't know what you got going on, behind the scenes. You don't know what I got going on. So it taught me to be more human, have more empathy, and just like treat people like honestly the way that you want to be treated. And it sounds simple, but it's true.
It's interesting because we are all fighting some sort of a battle. Everybody's fighting some sort of a battle. Not everything is hunky dory, and I don't care if you're 70 years old or 7 years old. There's people that got things going on in their life that we don't know about. And it's interesting that you tell the story about this gentleman that was sober and then he became unsober and unfortunately lost his life. And you spoke about your mother and her battle with substance abuse as well. So it is the substance abuse issue a strong issue for you? You advocate for helping people out, or I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like it's real big, a real big personal issue.
It is, yeah. And my mom's boyfriend growing up was addicted to crack cocaine. Every day he would just sit on the couch all day, every day, and at nighttime he would go in the garage and he would do his thing. And it really is tough growing up as a kid, and it's challenging. There's crazy moments that happen. The cops show up to your house because there's a fight going on, or he ended up stealing your jewelry, and it's like things that you could never even picture like happen to you when you have really people that are really close to you that are addicted to drugs and alcohol. And it's hard. It is super hard. And especially when they pass away, it's crazy. And you really never think that these people are can go, and they go. And it's just like, it's so sad and eye-opening, and it's all about what you get out of it. It's if you look down and you're like, oh my God, life sucks. This person is gone. My dad passed away. And yeah, it's so easy to get stuck in those ruts. But like, this is my first time on this planet. This is, I believe, everyone's first time on this planet. This is my only moment on this planet, as far as
Right.
I'm concerned. So I am trying to just live every day like I am here this one and only time. I'm not promised tomorrow. I'm not even promised tonight.
Right.
Every
Right.
moment that we're in is the only moment that we're actually promised. So what are you going to do? You're going to spend the moments going forward looking back? It's just counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense to me. So you have to take lessons out of things, and you have to realize that people are going through what they're going through. You can't blame them for it. They're not going to necessarily change because you want them to. You either accept them for who they are or you don't. And if you can learn lessons from these people, and I believe you can, then I think you should. And I think, there's a lot that you could learn from, unfortunately, drug addicts. There really
Yeah.
is. They are some of the nicest, most caring, loving people I've ever met is unfortunately a lot of people I know and have dealt with are drug addicts. There was a moment like after this kid passed away, the one that worked for us. I thought about possibly going to like AA meetings and hiring people that are trying to stay sober. And then I realized, wait, I'm in financial services. That might not be the best idea. Like, but the thought was there for a second, you know? But yeah, I don't hold substance abuse against people. I don't use it in a negative way. I also don't believe that alcoholism is a disease. I believe alcoholism is a choice, and I believe it leads to disease. But if it makes people that are addicted to alcohol feel better to call it a disease, so be it. But that's just my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, it's substance abuse is a lifelong battle for some people. Some people are able to beat it. You see these people that, you know, I've been sober 30, 40 years, and then you see other people that struggle with 30, 40 minutes.
Mhm.
It's definitely, and we all know people that are fighting that battle with it. But let's get on a little bit of a happier note here. So you own a POS company.
Mhm.
So explain what a POS. I know what a POS is because I used to work in the restaurant industry, but could you kind of explain what a POS is for our listeners that don't know what that is?
Yeah, it doesn't stand for piece of no, it stands for point of sale system. So what that is you ever walk into like, I don't know, let's just say a clothing store or let's say a restaurant and you see them using that computer. That's what I do. So I help set up that computer for the business. That computer is basically the engine of their business. It runs their inventory. It runs their employee clock in and clock outs. It runs their marketing programs a lot of times. It's how they take payments. There's a lot that a POS does for a business. And it's my job and my company's job and responsibility to set up these businesses with these systems and custom tailor them for these businesses. And I'm going to give myself a shameless plug. If you're in any of the 50 states and you need help with your POS, or if you're looking to reduce the fees associated with taking cards, credit cards, reach out to me. I've helped over 500 businesses personally do this. And I think it was 3 months ago, we just hit our $1 billion goal. We processed over $1 billion in payments
Wow.
in just 8 years. Yeah. So right now we're processing over $150 million annually for all of our clients. So, and we're one of the only companies that actually gives free equipment. Everyone else charges for it. So if this
Wow.
is something that maybe you or your listeners are interested in, reach out to me. Just go to my website, shoot me an email, or reach out to me on social media. No ceiling, no excuses on Instagram. And the website is www.noceilingnoexcuses.com. And you can also pick up the book there for $20.
So as far as you know, as a business owner, what has that opened your eyes to? I mean, as a business owner, I know I've owned multiple business. I own a business now. But as a business owner, what has it opened your eyes to? I know that some people look at things and say, "Oh, you know, you're a business owner, you have it all made." But sometimes we're working, not collecting a paycheck. Sometimes we're dealing with things when everybody else gets to go home. How did that influence your book, and how did that influence your life owning a business?
So it's funny. So before I ran this business that I'm running now, I used to look at business owners like they had it made. Like, oh my God. Like I remember my dad introduced me to the owner of this diner. He was like an old Greek guy. And I was like, wow, that guy must be so rich. Now that I only work with owners now at this point for small and medium sized businesses. Dude, they are some of the hardest working. Some of them are the poorest people that I've ever met with the most stress. It is so hard owning a business, especially in New York, especially in the hospitality industry. Oh my God. To run a restaurant might be the hardest business possibly ever because I mean, it's retail is one thing, right? You're given a product, you mark the price up, you sell that same product, you hope people buy it. It's hard with the internet now. But with a restaurant, you're buying carrots, you're buying lettuce, you're buying steak, you're buying fish. You got to chop it up. You got to cook it. You got to prep it. You got to put it on a pretty plate. You got to charge the right price. And guess what? If you serve the same exact dish to 100 people, 10 of them are going to hate it, 90 might like it, or the other way around. You have to change every ingredient and plate it and that like a restaurant only makes money in New York like Friday nights and Saturday nights between like
Mm.
6 and 8, maybe 6 and 9. So like everything has to go perfectly right for the restaurant to be profitable. And yes, if you do it the right way, you're going to be very profitable. I know some restaurants in Manhattan that are doing over $1 million a month. And yeah, it's not
Wow.
all profit, but I know a majority of the people that I work with are lucky if they do $1 million in 2 years, you know,
Wow.
and it's hard, and they are struggling. It is hard. It is next to impossible to find good, hardworking people that are reasonable, that show up, that do a good job. Labor is one of the most challenging things since 2020, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's work ethic or laziness or complacency. I don't know what it is, but even in my own industry, I'm trying to find people that want to hustle and work and get out there and make their lives better. And I feel like I have the keys to the kingdom, and I give all the tools, and it's just I don't know what it is. People just look for almost excuses and reasons to not do the things that will only help them.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I have a good team around me, but it took me a lot of kissing a lot of frogs to find some princes. You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty tough. Now, I used to actually have a friend that lived in Hoboken, and we
There
used
you
to
go.
take a train over to Manhattan all the time, and he would say, "Let's go to the city." Well, I'm a Philly guy, so when we say go to the city, that means the entire city. But when people go to like New York, I guess Manhattan is what they consider the city.
It's the city.
Um, yeah, and it was. I remember going out with him, and two things he always told me. He said they have the Manhattan colors, and I said, "Well, what's the Manhattan colors?" He says, "Black trench coats. Everybody wears black when you go there." And the other thing is get ready to drop some coin because it's pretty expensive. Have you noticed a lot of changes in New York and stuff like that over the past few years with pricing and
Absolutely.
all that stuff?
Dude, everything. I mean, even look at the wages. The wages went up, I don't know, 5 years ago. Minimum wage was what, like 12 or 13 an hour. Now in New York City, I think it's 20. So the wages
Wow.
almost doubled. I mean, the cost of every ingredient doubled, if not tripled, over the last 5 or 6 years. Bacon, egg, and cheese you used to get for $5 or $6. Now you're lucky if it's under 10. And everything is smaller. The quality is not what it was for the most part. And it's just become harder. Like back in the day, if you went to a restaurant, it was so much better, so much easier. You get a lot of there's a lot of challenges now that didn't exist back then. There's everyone keeps buying everyone as far as suppliers and distributors and wholesalers are concerned. So your choices are more and more limited. And I mean, just getting good produce for your restaurant could be a challenge. They might not have plum tomatoes this week, and you got to wait 3 weeks. Like it's just like I said, everything has to go right for a business in New York to make money. Everything has to go right. Once something goes wrong, okay, now instead of making 20%, you're making 5%. And if something goes wrong again, now you're lucky to break even. And if three things go wrong, now you're losing money. And it's just, you're back on that hamster wheel, back in that rat race. And the point of this book is to bust out of the rat race and bust off the hamster wheel and just control your own destiny.
Now, do you see AI coming into play with a lot of this stuff that you're dealing with, and
Yeah,
is it affecting it?
I mean, absolutely. AI affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. I mean, just go online, look at reviews. Five most recent reviews from your favorite restaurant. I bet you the top five most recent reviews were AI written. People using AI for everything now, with emails, and I don't think it's good for frontline communication. Like, like if you're reaching out to, I don't know, let's just say like your professor and you're in college and you have a question or something, like, I don't know if you should be using AI to send him an email or a text. I think it kind of takes away from the humanity aspect of it. But I use AI a lot. I'm just pretty careful about when and how I use it. For example, I don't know, I'm going to Italy next month.
Oh, I
First
was
time
just
ever.
there. I was just in
Oh, that's
Italy.
cool.
Yeah.
Which part did you go to?
We went to Rome and then we
Cool.
went to Anzio. And neat little story about Anzio is my step grandfather was in the Navy during World War II,
Oh,
and he
that's
was
awesome.
married to his first wife who had passed away. He had later married my grandmother, and I remember him telling me, now Jack has been dead for about 10 years, but I remember him telling me that his brother-in-law was killed in Anzio during World War II, and he was buried over there, and he always wanted to go to his brother-in-law's grave, and he never made it.
Oof.
And we went through Anzio, and I was like, I didn't even remember the guy's name, but I would have loved to have gone and put flowers for Jack
Oh, wow.
on his grave. But yeah, Italy was beautiful. So much history, so much to do. The food, sorry, New York Italians, I
Yeah.
love you to death, but you're not Italian Italian, and
We love you
that's the
too,
there's
and no
great.
offense taken. So I am such a foodie. I really am. I hate the word, but it is what it is. I'm just so obsessed with food. I cannot freaking wait, man. I already did so many stalkings of restaurants in Italy. I can't wait. I'm just like, I know I'm gonna gain like 50 pounds, but it'll be worth it. So I'm going to Italy next month, and my whole point to all this is one of my best friends growing up send me a list of all the places that, he's also like me. He does a lot of research before we go anywhere so we can find the best of the best. It's like our ongoing life mission. And he sends me a list of like 50 places, and I'm like, holy cow. So what I did was I literally copied and pasted his list, and I plugged it into ChatGPT, and I was like, hey, which one of these is less than 15 minutes from my hotel? Here's my hotel. Which one has at least a 4-star review on Yelp? And I want you to send me back the direct. I'm a big Yelper. I'm like, I want you to send me the Yelp page for each one of these restaurants. Sends it back to me. I click through. I spend an hour, and now I just ripped through a 50 restaurant list in an hour. When back in, I don't know, before chat, it would have taken me, I don't know, probably 3 hours or something. So, and I'm sure, over time, AI just gets better and better. There's no reason to be I mean, I guess there probably is a million reasons to be opposed to it, but you could either be opposed to it. I mean, if you're opposed to it, then Godspeed, because at this point, it's like I almost feel like I'm going to be left in the dust if I'm not almost embracing it at this point. But I definitely see a lot of avenues for it to get overused, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what scares me. Obviously, other than the fact that someone's going to hack it and probably steal the codes to our nuclear missiles and things like that. But and then
Well,
just wait for quantum computing. That's going to be a whole other thing. But we could
the
go on.
one thing you gotta watch with that is that, and I remember watching an documentary one time, and the name of the documentary escapes me, that said if you're not paying for it, you are the product.
Exactly.
And a lot of people put a lot of personal information into AI thinking it's secure, and what a lot of these companies do is they build an avatar around you based off of even your most secure information. I mean,
Yeah.
even the name of your grandparents, or the cities where your ancestors were from, all that stuff is collected so they know, and they can build an avatar about you for marketing. What do they say? Data is the new wealth
And
with
you know what's
everything.
crazy, Sean? It's actually legal for police to use your responses and chats with AI against you.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Really?
so they actually can get a warrant, and then now this is I believe in the state of New York, and I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice. I could be wrong, but I believe that they, if they want to, can use your private chats with AI against you. And if you said, "Oh, I plan on going to this place on this day," and it's not what you told the cops, now you got an issue.
Wow. I was today years old when I learned that. Just watch what you put on AI, everybody.
Yeah,
Or watch
no,
what you
for
put on
real.
the internet in general.
Exactly. Exactly.
So where do we see this book going? Do you have any stuff lined up? Is there a place that you might be trying to engage to do some speaking events? I know you said you haven't done any yet, but I mean, what do we have in the future? I mean, I'm interested. I'm definitely going to order this book and read it. But what do we got in the future coming?
I appreciate the support. I really do. It's my goal to sell 1,000 copies once I hit my goal, and we're on pace to do it. Maybe another couple months, but we'll get there. Once I hit my 1,000 copies, then I'm going to figure out where to take this thing. I love speaking. I'm like a ham, as my godmother calls me. So I could definitely picture myself like on a stage talking, trying to just give some real raw advice to people. So yeah, that could be another road. Maybe I'm very passionate about sales and just trying to make people, not make them, but help people kind of get the most out of their abilities, communication skills, tactical empathy, all these things. And I come up with a couple of cool concepts in my book. Like One is I'll dive into one. It's called
Yeah.
reverse math. So what I mean by reverse math is this is kind of how I realized that I can't keep doing the same thing I'm doing because I'm never going to get to where I want to be. So it was always my goal, my dream to own or build a house or whatever you want to call it in New York. The average house costs now like 600,000, maybe 700,000. Yeah, it's insane. 5 years ago, it was maybe 450.
Wow. And the taxes, that's not even probably including any type of taxes or anything like
No,
that on
that's just
top of it.
another average taxes in Nassau County. I think is like 12 or 13,000 a year, so a little over 1,000 a month. And if you have a nice house, let's say on the water, you could pay upwards of 40,000 a year. 10 years, you're at almost 500 grand, $500,000 right to the government for what? And what really makes no sense is it almost doesn't matter the size of your land. Like, for example, my brother, he lives on a tiny little lot in Merrick. But guess what? He has one of the nicest views I've ever seen. The
Hmm.
government charges him like he has 10 acres. So it's just greed. It makes no sense. And
Wow.
there's no getting around it. The only thing you have to do in life is die and pay taxes, right? So, you shut up, you keep your mouth shut, you pay your taxes, and you figure out how to make enough money where it almost doesn't even affect you. Because yes, the quality of life is worth paying, but at a certain point, you got to realize that we're just being taken advantage of. But that's a whole different conversation. Back to the whole theory, the whole idea of uh, reverse math. Okay. So I realized that I want to buy a house and the house is this much. And I'm like, okay, if my mortgage is going to be, let's call it 4 grand. Okay. That means I have to make 50,000 a year that goes just towards the mortgage. And I want a car. That's another 10,000 a year plus the insurance, another 5 grand a year. And then, if you just do the reverse math, you realize very quickly that you need like $150,000 or 100,000 to live a comfortable life. And that's after taxes.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not the guy to just eat a peanut butter and jelly every day and take public transportation. I'm just not that guy. I am the guy that I will drive my Nissan Altima into Manhattan so that way I don't have to sit on a train or wait for a train or a bus or whatever. And I like trying new things. And I will spend 30 or $40 on my breakfast just because I've never been to that place before and I want to have a good experience. I love food. I spend way too much money on food, but I figured out that like that's the life I want to live. And I'm like, okay, so now I got to make X amount to live that life. How can I get there? Instead of being like, oh, I can't afford that. Nah, don't think that way. Think, how can I afford that? And watch how much faster and more creative your brain starts to work.
So are you somebody that really tries to tell people to invest in multiple streams of income, or is it, you try to invest in one big thing and that's where your return is, and then other opportunities will come along once you start to make money? I mean,
You
what
know,
would
it's
you say?
Yeah, so it's kind of the opposite. I'm like, don't invest anything but your time, but do invest like things that will repay your time. So like the business I'm in now cost me $0 to start and be a part of. Like you could go get your real estate license for $300 and you buy business cards for another 100. Now you're in $400 and now you're going to earn at least 50% commission on a sale, right? So if you just go on, for example, go on ChatGPT, even though we were just talking a lot of smack on it,
Yeah.
and you type in, give me 5 killer businesses that I can start or join that have a minimal startup investment cost, that it only takes my time to grow. And then I would also add in that doesn't have a financial ceiling. It only depends on how hard I'm willing to work and how much time I'm willing to invest. And I bet you that it gives you some awesome, awesome ideas. Like use AI to your advantage. Come up with good prompts and you will get good responses.
I'm a firm believer that sales is the number one thing to make money. That's just my personal opinion, because I've always been in kind of a salesy type of job, even owning my own businesses. Nobody's going to sell your business as best as you.
Absolutely.
And with sales, the sky is the limit. But there are some people that are just born natural salesmen, and others it takes a while, or they just maybe don't get it.
Yes. Yes. I say sales is like my real passion. And it's funny, I didn't realize like back when I was working for my dad, power washing on the weekends with him, he was the best salesperson in the world. And I don't even think he tried to be a salesperson, which is the funniest part. Like he would knock on people's doors, give them the estimate, And he would use these funny words. He'd always be like, "I'm gonna make your house look brand new. Don't you worry. This is gonna look mint by the time we're done. It's gonna look mint." And the customers would always come outside at the end of the job, and they'd be like, "My house looks brand new. This does look mint." Like, so he like instilled subconsciously these words, and like he like future casted or precast or whatever the heck the word is. But he was just so good,
Forecasting.
man. Yeah, and he would always do things like, "Oh, normally I'd charge 500, but because he came from this person, I could take 100 off, so like people feel like they're getting a deal." And that at the end of the day, that is what people want. They don't want to be sold. They don't want to be taken advantage of.
Yep.
If you're going to a place in Manhattan, it could be the nicest place in the world. If you're paying $50 for a cocktail, it's still not going to feel good. It might taste pretty good in the moment, but at the end of the day, when you look at your wallet, you know that you kind of just got taken advantage of, and people don't want that.
I remember my father always told me with sales is you find something that your client or prospect is into and you try to relate to it. So my father would always go into an office and look and see maybe a cheerleading trophy from their daughter, or a picture on their desk of their family member, or maybe like a college diploma. And you try to resonate with somebody, because people tend to buy more from friends than they do from salespeople. And it always stuck with me. And if I always got a feeling too, when I was making a sale or approach somebody to try to make a sale and they didn't resonate back, maybe it was somebody I didn't want to do business with.
Yeah, it's so true. It really is. You hit the nail on the head there. The second you feel like, early in the relationship, you could tell, like, if you just don't jive with someone, do yourself and do them. Like, do both of yourselves a favor and just like don't work together. Like, I've realized that I don't want to work with every business. I don't. I want to work with business owners that take their business seriously, that are going to be in it for the long run, that are going to respect my time and my value that I'm bringing to the table, and that are professional. And if you're just, if you're young and you're just starting off and you're still professional and you have the right mindset, then I do want to work with you. But if you're just like, "Oh, I'm going to open up a smoke shop in my parents' upstairs apartment, and I'm going to be only open on Fridays and maybe Saturdays if I wake up," nah, I don't want to work with you. I want people that are digging their heels into the sand and being like, "All right, let's get this. Let's go."
So are you gonna do an audio book as well? Do you have an audio book, or is it just right now paper or in Kindle and stuff like that?
It's paper, it's Kindle. There is an audiobook. And the good news is you don't have to listen to my voice talk and say this audiobook. I actually hired a professional. So he's great. He sounds like he did the trailer of Terminator 2. He's like, "No ceiling, no excuses." And I'm like, yes, that's what I wanted. He crushed it. But it's good. The guy's really good. Funny story with the audiobook guy. I changed one of the chapter titles like right before I released the book. And I changed the title to Beauty in a Blank Slate. And I'm like, I'm a big fan of alliteration. I'm like, beauty in a blank slate sounds so good. And I listened to the whole audiobook. It was like chapter 13. It was like the last chapter. And I was so excited to hear the way that he said it. And he goes, "Chapter 13, beauty in a blanket." And I'm like, no, like the most important part. So obviously I emailed him before I released it. I'm like, "Dude, you got to fix this." And he starts laughing. He's like, "I don't even know where I came up with blanket."
So where can people get your book? What platforms, what websites, even your website, where can they pick up a copy or get an audiobook?
Yeah, so I wish I could say it's in every bookstore in the world. It's actually not in a single bookstore except for the largest one. It's on Amazon. Okay, so you could go to Amazon, type in "No Ceiling, No Excuses," or just go to my website and you click one link. It takes you to the same Amazon page. It's www.noceiling.noexcuses.com, and you could spell it wrong and it should still take you to the same website. I think I bought every possible URL except for earlier you called it "No Ceilings, No Excuses." I might have to buy that one as well.
Oh yeah, well that's my Philadelphia accent. We tend to pluralize everything. It's
I like it.
And for those that are listening, Philadelphia and New York have like a love-hate relationship, but you know,
Yeah.
Chris is all right in my book.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I consider you a fellow Tampa resident at this point. So,
That's right. So you know, Chris, you know, if you were to give one piece of advice to that future entrepreneur, let's say that kid that's, I don't want to say kid, young adult
Mhm.
that is 21, 22, 19, looking to start that business or looking to make that big leap, what would you say you know, as somebody that's made it, that came from the ground up,
Mhm.
literally a salt of the earth type of guy,
Okay.
what would you give them advice wise?
I'm gonna give them 3 tips. First tip: limit your screen time to all social medias to 1 hour per day. That's one.
Okay.
And actually, don't just hit the bypass button when that stupid alert comes up. Actually, stick to it and watch how much more time you have and force yourself to use the time smarter. Okay. That's step one, is limit your social media use to 1 hour per day. That's it. Step two: if you say you're going to do something, do it, stick with it. And don't look back and don't regret, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, don't get stuck in perfection paralysis and just keep it moving forward. The second you start going into those downfalls and those spins of negativity, nothing good is going to come out of it. And then number 3, don't be afraid to invest in people. So build a team. I wish I did that earlier. Finding the right people that look out for you, that do the right thing when no one's watching, is worth every penny that you're paying those people. But finding those people can be tricky. And if any of the listeners have any tips on how I could find people like that, please let me know.
I was very lucky. I have a phenomenal team, and I've always said it this too, is, you know, finding the right partner in life. And it seems that you've actually found the right partner in life. You spent you know, what'd you say, 14 years you've been together?
I've been with my wife for 14 years. I met her when I was 20. I had to use my brother's fake ID to buy alcohol when I first met my wife.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, finding the right partner is key. Somebody that backs you up, somebody that believes in your dream, but somebody that's not afraid to tell you that, hey, you might not want to try that, and you might want to try something else. It's very key.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get lost in the sauce. Don't let these stupid influencers online dictate how you feel. Don't look at their cars and their lives and be like, "Oh, they got it so good," cuz I know so many people that post crap online, and that is not their life. That is not their life. Everyone thinks it's their life, but I know them. I know them. It's not, I promise. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. Don't beat yourself up too bad. And guess what? In 5 years, when you look back to where you are today, you're going to be like, wow, that guy, Chris, on that guy's podcast, Sean, was freaking right.
So the toughest question I always ask my guests, and this one, you know, generally comes from the heart. Chris, if you could look at yourself at 16, 17, 18 years old, before you've reached the success and your continued success now, with all the things that have happened in your life, good and bad, the people that have come and gone, those alive, those no longer alive, that were there for a moment or reason or a season,
Mhm.
what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. Honestly, I'd probably be like, dude, just keep going. Just don't be afraid of other people's uh, you know, thoughts about you. Don't worry about it. Like back in when I played in the band, I remember I played a concert, and one of the guys that also played in a different band who I really looked up to, I actually caught wind that he was talking a little bit of smack on my band's performance, and it really made me upset. And it really made me like, yo, what the heck? Like I looked up to this guy. And now he's like talking behind my back, and I'm like, why do you care? Why do you care? Stop caring. Stop caring. Get all that stuff out of your head and worry about what you're doing, worry about your life, and success will come.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. I know I wish I could look back at my younger self and tell myself a bunch of things, but the one thing that we got to be aware of too is our mistakes is what got us where we're at today. So it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Amen.
So, okay, Chris, well, where can everybody find you? Let's talk about your social platforms and where they can go to subscribe, follow you, and all that other stuff.
Yes, so pretty basic at this point. I'm on, I would say, mainly Instagram at no ceiling, no excuses. Just go ahead and throw me a follow on there. I'll follow you back. Would love to connect with everyone on there. You can email me, but email's kind of outdated. Yeah, just message me, send me a DM on Instagram, and I check it at least once a day, but I limit it to an hour, like I said earlier. So, and then additionally, just the website. Right now, it's the only thing I'm trying to just promote and get out there is just the book. I really want some feedback on the book. A lot of people seem to be reading it and they leave me nice reviews here and there, which I do love and appreciate. But I'd love to hear like what people actually thought about it. Like this took me a long time to write and come up with, and I really poured my heart into it. And yeah, my family gave me good support, but everyone's like, yeah, the book was great. And I'm like, okay, talk to me more. Like, dude, I have 30,000 words in my book. Like, use more than 10 when you're reviewing it, please. Like, I want to know. Like, I really do. Like, did it suck? Was it good? Was it interesting? Like, I want to hear feedback about it. So I would just love to get a little bit more general feedback on the book. Like, if there's a certain chapter or part of the book that people resonate with, I'd love to hear that.
Okay, and for our listeners that aren't seeing this on video, how would they go about spelling and saying your last name?
Chris Capuano, C-A-P as in Peter, U-A-N as in Nancy, O. I spell it like my mom did growing up.
All right. And, Chris, I'd like to thank you for being on the show today. It was an honor to have you. I'm wishing you complete 100% success in everything that you do. We will be following you here at the Kling Kerfuffle. We will be listing your book on our website, and trying to help you get the word out there for No Ceiling, No Excuses.
The honor is all mine, Sean. I'll do this again tomorrow if you're free. So just let me know.
So, all right. And this wraps up our episode of the Kling Kerfuffle. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, share, and subscribe and click that notification bell. We're on all the major platforms, and we're also on all the Spotify's, the Apple iTunes, the Amazon, all that stuff too. So not just the social media platforms, but the podcast platforms. And like I said, if you like what you saw, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and reach out to Chris and see if you can get a copy of his book, and let's get the word out. No ceiling, no excuses. Love the title, and I'm gonna steal that saying from now on, Chris.
I love it. I hope you think of me when you steal it, Sean. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody, and have a great day.